Everybody, we're here again doing our Facebook Live, and today's practice is going to be a sideline practice. I thought, you might be feeling a little bit of fatigue in your body these days, so this is a nice way to break that up in a really gentle way. So I recommend, if you have a hardwood floor, I recommend getting a few layers of padding underneath you. You don't have to have like a sticky mat, but you definitely don't want to be slipping around. You can even do this on a couch or a bed. Probably a bed would be better. But you want to make sure that if you're lying on your side, you're comfortable. So I'm going to have a small pillow available for my head. Want to do the same, and I'm just going to come down to lie on one side. Try not to fall asleep. So I'm resting on my left side. It may appear that I'm on my right side to you because the camera mirrors us, but I'm just resting on my left side, holding my head with my left hand, and actually I'll show you here. And I pull my knees up towards my chest. Your knees may not come up this high. You may be looking a little bit more like this. That's fine. Whatever is a more comfortable position for you. So just take a few moments on your side, either side. Take a few moments on your side to simply let the body relax and adjust to this new position. Find a few breaths. And then when you're ready, you'll extend your top leg and your top arm in opposite directions. So the leg will go down the mat and the arm will go overhead. And you can keep the toes touching the floor if you like, or you can lift the leg off the ground, depending on your energy level today. Some days I'm tired and I just keep the toes resting on the floor the whole time. So really stretch fingers and toes away from each other, get long. You might even slide the leg a little bit back so that you can open up the front of the hip here. We spend so much time sitting these days. Really good to open up this space. And then once you find that position that feels good to you, take a breath in, elongate it, exaggerate it. And then as you're ready, start to exhale and pull that knee and elbow in towards each other. You might even tuck your chin. Inhale. And let the leg and arm extend in opposite directions, really stretching long. Exhale, knee and elbow towards each other. Do that a couple more times. Inhaling, extend, extend, extend. Exhaling, contract, contract, contract. One more time. Feel the length of your whole body. And then exhale. And then just let your knees fall in together, resting on top of each other. Let your shoulder relax. Take a breath. And now we're going to work with the shoulder, the neck, and the upper back as we come into a twist. So to start off, just put your hand, this is the top hand, right? Put your hand on the floor in front of your chest. And then start to slide that hand forward until you feel a stretch in your upper back between the shoulder blades. You can exaggerate that stretch by turning your head to look towards the floor. And I'm going to remove my glasses for that. Let me show you. So I just kind of turn my head to look down. And then you'll unwind and slide your arm across the body as you bring your shoulder, your elbow, and possibly your arm to the floor behind you. Now notice I'm letting my knees separate here. You might even find that the knees come apart quite a bit. That's okay. Take a breath in. as you breathe out, bring your hand back to your chest and slide the hand back across to the floor. And you can turn your head down. So inhale, and you unwind the body, opening up chest, upper back, neck. Exhale, you come back to side lying, reaching the fingers, opening up that upper back. Oh, that feels good. Inhaling, unwind, and exhaling, back to side lying. This time when you inhale and unwind into the twist, just pause there for a few breaths. So come into your twist and then pause. You might even need to make a few little adjustments so that it's comfortable for you. And breathe and feel. And then when you're ready, you bring that arm back to your chest, your ribs, whatever you can reach, and slowly come back onto your side. So now you're resting on your side again, just like we started. And pause and feel your breath, feel your chest, feel your back. Okay. Now you're going to place that hand forward again. Not such a big stretch forward. Just place it on the floor in front of your chest. Kind of more of an anchor. And the top leg is now going to swing from the hip. And we're going to start off by bringing that foot close to the hand that's on the floor. And you might even be able to take hold of it. If that's too much, then maybe it's down here. Whatever height you're comfortable extending to. And then keeping the toes on the floor, start to swing the leg down towards the bottom of your mat, towards the foot of your mat. And then as it crosses the hip line, start to bend your knee and point the toes towards whatever's behind you. In my case, it's my couch. And I just keep going until I feel this nice stretch along the front of the hip and then a little bit into the belly. At the same time, my hand is here kind of countering that stretch. So my knee is bent. I'm just going to lift my foot so you can see. My knee is bent in that position there. And then I'm going to slowly swing the leg back. As it comes around, it starts to straighten again. And then as it comes towards my hand, I'm going to flex the ankle so that I exaggerate that hamstring stretch. And then swing the leg around behind again. Yeah. And then forward. Flexing the ankle as it comes forward. Yeah, it's an odd movement, but really feels good on the side. Now this next one, you're just going to bring that foot forward and pause. Flex the ankle, get that stretch in the hamstring. Again, if you can catch hold of the foot, great. If you can't, not a big deal. What I want you to feel is that stretch along the back of the leg, and you might even get it into the calf, depending on how you're able to flex the ankle. Okay, now we're going to bring that leg back around, and this time bend the knee and catch hold of the front of the ankle with your hand, but then start to point your knee down towards the foot of your mat. And right now my foot is really close to my buttocks. And the thing to be cautious about here is try not to lift your knee too far away from the floor. Okay, keep the knee in line with your hip. And if that feels okay, this could be, a huge stretch. So you might just stay here. But if that feels okay, you might start to kick your foot into your hand, moving your foot towards whatever's behind you. Again, in my case, it's my couch. And this is going to give my shoulder a big stretch, along with my quadricep, the front of the thigh. Okay, and then I'm going to replace that knee on top of the other. Oh, take a few breaths. how that feels. Okay. What feels really good to me after doing that stretching of the knee is to straighten the legs. So I'm going to straighten both legs along the mat. And I have to kind of wiggle around a little bit because it's kind of knobby right here on the outer hip, right? So you have to kind of find the place that is comfortable that you can balance on. And then I'm going to bring both arms overhead. Now, the down hand is going to wrap the wrist of the top arm, the top hand, and pull gently. I'm going to flex both my ankles, almost like my feet are pushing up against that wall, and I push out through the heels at the same time that I pull my arm gently. So I feel this nice elongation along the spine, front of the hips. I'm tucking the tail slightly. I'm not letting my hips jackknife out to the sofa behind me. Okay. Then I'm going to let go of my wrist, keep the legs there for a moment, and just take this top hand to the floor in front of you, kind of for balance. And then bend the top knee and point the top knee towards the ceiling. That foot is going to sit on the inseam of the pants of your down leg. So now I'm going to push this knee towards the ceiling, push the heel of the down leg away from my head. Pretty much the balance is on the little toe of the down leg. And there's a slight tucking of the pelvis. Now, if you feel really wobbly here, that's normal. So keep pushing the hips, tucking the tailbone under and pushing that knee up towards the ceiling. And breathing. If you feel balanced, you feel steady, you can take this arm up, overhead, wherever you want to place it. If you're feeling wobbly, you can put the hand on the floor in front of you. And then release, hand to the floor, both knees bent. Just pause. When you're ready, go ahead and roll to the other side. So that I can continue to see you, I'm actually going to sit up and shift to the other side. Okay. So let's see if we can remember all of those fun things we did on the other side. So just start off. You may need to take a few moments to kind of adjust and breathe. And then when you're ready, extend arm and leg in opposite direction. Now, it could be really different experience on this side. So take some time with the first one. Maybe slide this top leg a little bit behind you. Maybe reach the top arm a little bit forward or back. Find the place that your shoulder likes. Once you find that right spot, go ahead and breathe in, elongate, exaggerate, and then exhale and bring the elbow and knee towards each other. I like to tuck my chin too. Inhale, and the leg and the arm extend. You get taller through that side, and then exhale. Feel that sense of contraction, drawing inward. Inhale and extend. A little bit of a metaphor of how we've been living these last few months, right? Kind of contracting, pulling into our shells, and then extending out into the world as we can, as we need to. Last one. And then just let the knees rest on top of each other. And we're going to move into the upper back, neck, and shoulder region. So you'll take this top arm, put it on the floor in front of you, and slide it as far forward as you can. And that might pull your nose down towards the floor. Ooh, nice stretch around the shoulder blade, between the shoulder blades. And then as you're ready, start to unwind, and the hand comes across the chest and to the floor behind you. And remember, the knees might separate, they might shift. That's okay. Let them do that thing. And then as you're ready, come back. So the hand comes back. I like to bend the elbow here. Hand comes back, and then the shoulder and the upper back, and then the head. And then you slide that hand forward, exhaling, inhaling, open up into your twist, and exhaling, come back to your side bend. Inhaling, opening up to your twist. I know I said side bend, I meant sideline. Exhaling into your sideline position. Once more. And this one we're going to stay in. We're going to pause here. Take a few moments to adjust and feel. I really like that movement for all of the work we're doing at our computers, kind of hunched over the computer. I really like that shifting back and forth. It just feels very feels like it relieves a lot of the tension that builds up there. Okay, now when you're ready, you're going to bend the elbow, bring your hand back to your chest, and slowly bring that arm to the floor in front of you. Take a few breaths. Okay. Now we're going to leave the hand on the floor in front. And this is where we start to move into the leg. So you'll take the top leg and extend it towards your hand. And you might reach the hand. You might even be able to grab the hand. Grab the foot. Or you might leave the foot a little lower. Maybe the hip flexors don't want to come up that high. Okay? So just see where you are in this spectrum of movement. And then when you're ready, start to swing the leg down towards the foot of your mat. And then as you cross the threshold of the hip, begin to bend the knee. And I'm just going to lift my foot so you can see what I'm doing here. Bend the knee and extend the leg back behind you towards whatever's behind you. So in my case, it's my sofa. Right? So as the leg goes back, my hand is going forward. That creates this nice pull along the front of my hip and belly. And then slowly swing the leg back around. You can keep the toes on the floor the whole time. And then swing the leg back behind you, bending the knee once it crosses the hip. And then swing it forward, nice and slow. This is a full spectrum of movement. You may have the full spectrum, or you might have a portion of it, but no big deal. One more time. And then the next time that foot comes forward towards your hand, keep it there and flex the ankle so that you feel that stretch along the back of the leg. There it is. Hamstring, calf, around where the Achilles tendon. Okay, and then we release that. Go ahead and bend the knee and catch hold of the front of your ankle, and then swing your knee so that it points towards the bottom of your mat. And initially, keep your foot really close to your buttocks and think about the angle between the floor and your thigh bone. So you want the thigh bone to be kind of parallel to the floor, if that makes sense, rather than the knee angling up. Okay. See how that feels. This could be it. This could be the end of the stretch for you. Or you might kick your foot a little bit away from your hand and get into the shoulder and chest stretch. See how that is. Just be careful not to lift the knee too high away from the floor. Okay, and then we release that and come into a sideline Tadasana. So the legs are going to straighten out, which should feel really good after that knee work. And be careful that you're not, kind of sticking the butt out or bringing the toes forward. Typically, if we were in a room together, I would be checking to see if your toes were closer to your nose than they need to be. So you want the legs to extend straight out from the spine, and then reach the arms overhead, and the bottom hand is going to take hold of the wrist of the top hand. Bottom hand takes hold of the wrist of the top hand. And you're going to pull gently, press your heels almost like you're pushing into a wall, and do a little bit of a tuck of the tailbone so that you engage your abdominal muscles. And don't worry if you're wobbly, that's to be expected. Breathe. Inhale. And exhale. Okay, and then release. Take your top arm and just rest it in front of you. And then bend the top knee and point the top knee towards the ceiling. Now you can start off here kind of sitting back on your buttocks, almost like you're twisting towards your back. Yeah. But then once you get that foot placement, really make sure you're on the side of your body. Tuck the tailbone under. Push the thigh bone towards the ceiling, up at an angle. And balance yourself with the little toe of the down foot. Little toe of the down foot. See if you can find that. It's kind of like the tugboat pulling in a great big ship. Little toe has a job to do. And then if you feel wobbly, this hand can be in front of you to help balance you. Or you might try different arm positions depending on what feels good to you. Really feel that sense of length through the back and through the front of the body. Breathe. This is your balancing pose, put on the floor. And then slowly we release. Bring both knees back up towards the chest. Pausing. Breathing. Okay, so this may be a good opener for you to then move on to another practice. You could just roll to your back and do some practice on your back. Or it may be a mindful break, mindful movement break, and in which case you would just slowly roll yourself up and get ready to move on with the rest of your day. Thank you for joining me. Take care.